and then Facebook Live. We'll see if I can make that happen. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. Um, so I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we'll see. Welcome. Today is Saturday, September the 9th, and conference is coming. Yay, it's almost here. And I'm so excited. I'm supposed to make sure I mention conference. I'm going to screen share real quick with you guys and show you. If you have not registered for conference, right here it is. And you just scroll down right after you go on the startx39biz.com. You just scroll all the way down, and there's conference October the 12th through the 14th. And this right here, you can register, get your ticket, because I think next week, I think the end of the week is the last week. So you want to make sure you get your ticket. There's the agenda. The Thursday night, I believe it is the 80s night. The agenda says it's the 80s night, I believe, on Thursday. And then Saturday, we have our gala. It's such a wonderful event. They have the hotel is available. That link's right here. So make sure you invite your teams. I do believe Marcy did say there was a drawing, so we'll get to that in just a second. And also, no, that's it. She wanted me to show you today for that. But she did have a drawing. So last week, if you were on the call, she said, hey guys, find out who on your team is going to convention and make a list. And if you made a list of your team that's going to convention, you get a chance for a $50 raffle. And so, so I'm going to pop that in there just because it's out in my chat. So put your name first. Hold up your list, because we got to see these lists. Some of you should have made it. Anybody? Yes, I see. Pat made hers. Okay. So everyone that made your list of everybody on your team that's coming to conference, there's Leah's. Yay! Go ahead and put your name in, and we're going to have a couple drawings. We're going to do one now. We're going to do one later. And go ahead and put your name in the chat. And in a minute, I'm going to do a drawing. So if you got your list, pop your name in. While you're doing that, I will also let you know there is a website. I just popped it in called lightpowergirls.etsy.com. And you can go on there and get your conference t-shirts, your Evolve t-shirts, your or not even for conference. Even if you're not going to conference, you can still get some great t-shirts in there. And so go on to that site. It's in the chat. Light Power Girls. Let me go back up. lightpowergirls.etsy.com. And let me make sure that's all of the announcements. And I have Leah's name. I know there's more because I seen them.
Stacie, I got kicked out if you want to put me back in.
Oh, that's why nobody's come in. Thank you. Let's see here. Where? Oh, there we go.
You see me?
Yes, I do. I get it. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and let several of you put your name in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Marcy reached out to me this week and asked me and my special co-host, Beth Ann Baffuto. I've known you for too many years not to be able to say your last name. And she's a presidential director also with LifeWave. And she asked us to come and talk to you guys about having events or hosting parties or things of that nature. So we talked about a little bit about the patching pop-up parties or whatever you want to call, but we're going to go into details about the different parties. So I'm going to first turn it over to Beth Ann and let Beth Ann get a little started. And then after Beth Ann gets started, we'll do a drawing, and then we'll come back and we'll do a little bit more. Go ahead, Beth Ann.
Okay. So first I want to thank Dr. Stacie Phillips, who if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be getting to use these patches, which I absolutely love and have changed my life and so many people that I love and know. So thanks to Dr. Stacie. And also we're talking today about events. So I want to give credit to her that she and Charity came here into my little town and did an event 1 year ago. And we've been celebrating our birthday with that. So I want to share about how I did events here, how my little team got going. And we have in general wanting to talk about live events, the different types, the benefits of different ones, so that this would hopefully be helpful information for you as well. So consistency is number one. I wanted to be sure and share that. Whatever kind of events you're doing that we're going to talk about today, just tuck it back in your head that consistency is important. So just think like if you're going to plant a little bit of corn kernel in the ground and how that's going to grow into this huge plant that produces all these kernels. So it only has to start with one little tiny thing and it can grow. And that's what's happened for my team. And of course, for our big team, which I think Marcy's, best I know, probably we have over 50,000 people on our team now. So it's just huge what's happened. And it's just so exciting. So live events, we want to talk about the benefits. We want to have time for Q&As and that you can put in the chat. So like I said, consistency is what works. It's huge. Just start. You know, if you have an idea, just start. And then you can always make improvements from there. So how did it work for me? I was out of the country actually, and Stacie was trying to share the patches with me. And thankfully she was very, very consistent, very persistent. I think those are really important too. I think he's probably shared with me 5 times, Stacie, before I finally said, oh, just go ahead and, you know, just send me some more information. Just send me some more information. That really means, you know, so thankfully she was very persistent. So we got going when we were actually wintering out of the country and then came back to my little town where I live. And I wanted to share, I had shared just with a handful of people from when I was overseas. And so I had a couple of those people come and join me at a coffee shop. The first event that I had was a face-to-face coffee shop. And I had been watching the podcasts that we do at night. And I thought, I just want to copy those. I mean, that looks to me like a monkey see, monkey do, pretty easy thing to do. You get together, you share about the company, you share about David and how wonderful he is, get a couple people to give their testimonies and help them get the patches. So I thought this is a wonderful thing, just duplicate. And I had 5 people at that first event at the coffee shop. It was 2 people that already had testimonies that I had enrolled, myself, and a couple more people that came that had never even heard about the patches before. And they were in a helpless and hopeless situation when they came and just said, I don't know anything about this. I don't really care other than the fact that I know I need to do something because my life is not good right now. And that's how we started. So that was 1 week. And I also had from previous experience, the idea that I knew I needed to be consistent. And so, but every single week was too much, you know, to expect people to come every single week to something. So I set it up and started doing every other week to have meetings. And really, I just wanted them to be like our podcasts, but the benefit was these were local people. These were people that people knew. So you could actually trust them, look them in the eye, know that what they said was really real. See them, you know, when they're breaking into tears because their life has changed and they don't feel suicidal anymore. You know, it was just so powerful. So I had, I believe, 1 more little live event like that at the same coffee shop 2 weeks later, and then it got to be too big. So right away we had to move to another location. And it wasn't a big location. I moved to a club that I belonged to. We had a room where the maximum it would hold was 28. So it wasn't huge, but pretty soon we got to where we had 28 people coming every other week. And then I really felt like I wasn't even the one doing them anymore. It was the testimonies. The people's testimonies were just so powerful and strong and fun. So that's how we grew. And over time we changed. One of the things a couple things I think that were really big was I always did announcements. I wanted people to know what was going on. We're going to have another event in 2 weeks, you know, let people be on track with that. And then also recognition. I think whatever you recognize is what grows. So if people have enrolled people, recognize them. If people have made manager, recognize them, you know, in front of everybody, because that whatever you pay attention to is what grows. Then I had this other idea that was just my own idea, that when people got to be managers, then they should have the right to have the floor and be one of the ones that would share about David, share about the patches, the science, and how that worked. And so that's how we grew. And it was really fun to watch people personally grow themselves, people that had never gotten up and shared in front of people before, and watch them do the first time was a little intimidating. The second time was way better. I mean, just really fun to watch people grow like that. And so my team has grown to the point that, and then when I leave again for the winter, they took over last year without me. So just awesome. So we have wonderful leaders that are, I just kind of feel like the mom. I came back, I got to be the mom again, but they're the ones running the meetings. They're the ones in charge of what's going on, and they're the ones building teams, and I'm just here to help. And so I think that's the main thing. I still do recognition every time, want people recognized for what they're doing. And that is huge. So the advantage I thought with those little meetings were local testimonies, local leaders, teams that people get to grow into their roles. So now we've had spin-off events, I'll say. We had a 1-year anniversary. One of the people in the team said they really wanted to recognize the fact that this team had been around for 1 year and just have a fun time, just have a party. So this was one of our spin-off events. Really was not an event where you get together and talk about business, where you recognize people for what they're doing, none of that, but just come together, love each other, enjoy each other, celebrate. And so that was in the park party that I appreciate. One of the team came forward with the idea that they really wanted to do that. And now tonight we have another party. So that has spun off to somebody else who's doing an in-home barbecue tonight. So they got the idea, this is really, really fun for people to get together and love each other and build a team that way. So really it's team building, building a team, but also just building up the team as you get to be good friends and love and share with each other. So that's one kind of spin-off event. We've tried the patching. We're going to talk more about the patching parties or patching information events. We started those a little bit. We have one person that set us up with a senior activity center, a community room, which is great, awesome springboard place to have we did a patching event. And we're going to talk more about senior centers and the possibilities that they present for you later. So I think another little thing to think about is just bloom where you're planted, whatever is you, whatever fits you. Don't feel like you got to be somebody else. Just start, you have an idea and go ahead and just start with some kind of event like we're going to talk about today. So with that, I think I'm ready to turn it back to the funnest part of the duo here, Dr. Stacie.
Well, thank you. So, okay, drawing I did, and Darcel is the first one. So Darcel, you reach out to Jan Rand, send Jan Rand your information and let her know that you were one of the ones that received the drawing for the convention list. And then the other thing that we have to do is Marcy also said and I have two more drawings. So one more is for the gratitude. So if you have your gratitude journal, like what Leah taught about last week, if you had grabbed your gratitude journal and you have it with you, hold it up, show it to everybody, let everybody know. And then I want you to put your name in the chat. And so she's going to give a $50 gift card also for the gratitude list. Yes, good. Jenny's got her gratitude up. There's Beth Ann's.
Mine's
So
in my
keep putting
computer.
in, however it is. If you're doing it, I know Leah's doing it because she's the one that taught on it. So yay. Yes, keep putting them in there. Very good. And we're going to do a drawing in a little bit on that. But like Beth Ann said, she talked about setting up and doing your own. So I'm going to go into a little bit about helping your team set up. If your team is ready, and I had a lady just sign up. She's a little ways from me. And she was like, man, I really want to do this. How do I do this? Well, I can come every week and do it for her, or I can teach her how to do it because she's new, she's coming in. I have material, I have that kind of stuff. So what I like to do is I like to go ahead and get them going. And I tell them, okay, here's a flyer. I usually make a flyer for them. I send them flyer, and it just says a patching event. Come hear about the latest in stem cell activation technology, or however you want to set it up with your flyer. And I send them that. I tell them, here's your flyer. Now you're going to hand this out to all your friends and family and everybody. But also the other thing I ask them to do is I make some big ones, and I say within a 2-mile radius from the place we're hosting the event, go around to any natural yoga studio, fruit juice, natural juices, any type of health type event. Take that flyer, ask them, can you put it up? Because you're doing an event this Saturday at such and such, and you want to put it in. Most places have a place where you can put a poster on. So you put the poster there, and that's a way to, it's only within 2 miles. So if somebody's coming to that place, 2 miles farther is not going to be a big deal for them. And, you know, and then of course you need to make sure your phone number's on there. So even if they can't come, they can contact you. So that's one of the steps I do when I'm setting up somebody new. Then the first event.
You have some things that you say, I'm sorry. What do you say to on the flyer?
So I can make sure Marcy posts the flyer on the getting started, on this biz site, a flyer, a few options. I think they might already be there. And so the first step when we go in and do the event, then I actually do a lot of the events. I present, I put up, you know, I bring my banners and all that kind of stuff. I present, I do all that. The second one, I say, okay, now you've seen how I presented. This is a piece that I want you to step in and take over. And so then the next one we do together, we co-partner. You can on that first one co-partner if they're ready, but if you feel like they're not quite ready, you know, don't force somebody to get into that before. I think Leah might be posting a little flyer. That's perfect. Thank you, Leah, in the chat. So then the second time I come, we co-host together, we partner. The third time I come, I give her even more roles. Because, and now what we're doing also, each event, she's signing up people. But not only that, she's making sure she announces the day for the next event. That's always important. So that way people know. And then I always say, hey guys, you signed up today. You're going to start feeling some amazing things happening. And when you do, you might want to invite your friends. And the next date is da 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 da. And so invite your friends and family and bring them and let us share this same knowledge with them. And so that's what I do every time. So now it keeps growing, kind of like what Beth Ann's event did. It keeps growing to more and more people. And their friends are bringing people, and that's how it starts expanding. And then about that third, fourth, fifth time, depending on how the host is, I start releasing them, because now they've signed up a few people that can run with them, that can share with them, that can take part in that event. So that's kind of how I go to set up somebody brand new that's ready to build. And I've done it several times over, and now I can help new people while they continue to do their monthly event or weekly or bi-weekly, however they want to set up. Okay, so second drawing for the convention list is Victoria. Yay, Victoria. So Victoria, make sure that you send Jan Rand your information, and she will send you that $50 gift card out. Yes, you. Yep. Oh, I didn't realize there was two. I'm sending you a message right now, Victoria, and to let you know. Sorry about that. And okay, so then the next things that we want to talk about is we went over setting up yourself like Beth Ann did. Now we've talked about how to help your downline set up. Then we want to talk about, so positives of helping somebody else set up is, you know, they get to start out. But we're going to go into vendor shows and health fairs. People always like, well, should I go to vendor shows? Should I go to health fairs? What should I do? You know, because there is cost to those type of things sometimes. So Beth Ann did some of the vendor shows, and she's going to go dive into a little bit of that and which ones may be the best or not.
Well, I really wanted to share because the first vendor show we decided to do was at a candy business. And it's a really successful candy business. And they have tons of taffy in these barrels, and it's a lot of fun. And there was a ladies' night out, and the candy business was one of the places that they could stop in and get some treats, get some specials. We did not have one single person that was interested in health and getting better in patches. They were there for candy. They were there for sugar. And it was like, whoa, I think we learned something here. You know, it was, I think the booth table was only like $25. So we thought, well, this isn't going to cost us very much. Let's go. It's got to be a good venue. It's not going to cost us much. Well, it didn't benefit us much either. So I think we learned a lot about the type of events. Makes a huge difference. Who's the crowd that's coming? What are they interested in? So I know that we have now, thankfully, if we see some health and wellness events, we know, okay, we want to target those. If we see some events that maybe are horses, people that have horses and they're interested in the health of their horses, or they've got animals that are competitive, you know, that would be an event that we would think would have people that are interested in what we have. So that was a learning curve. I just wanted to throw that in, Stacie.
Yes, and that's very good. So some of the most successful vendor shows we've done is we've used IceWave to target people. People like to get out of pain. They like instant. And so sometimes when you go over the technology and understanding, it's a little bit much for them right there at a vendor show. And so targeting them real fast and getting their attention real fast can help. And IceWave is, and if you don't know how to properly use IceWave, David has a super video out. You can go and you can learn the clock method. You can learn the threading method. And within a couple minutes, you can have somebody from a 10 to a 1, 0, you know, that kind of stuff. So you get their attention really fast. And another thing at the vendor show, it always seems to be more successful if you can go ahead and get them signed up right there at the event. Instead of trying to get 50 people on the list, you know, get them signed up, get them to information. Instead of doing that, you actually sit and spend the time that they have to talk to them, attract them with that IceWave if they have pain, and go ahead and try to get them signed up. But we do have a few people on my team that haven't had the success necessarily always to sign up, but she does have a drawing that she'll do, and she ends up, just to help everybody, is a 5-day patches, but she has a sit down, and it's a consultation, she calls it. And so what she does is after the event, she calls them and says, hey, you put your name on the list, and I wanted to reach out. I would love to do a consultation with you and get you your 5 days. And you know what? The ones that she gets to sit down and have coffee with, she says, come out, meet me. I'll treat you for coffee, and we'll just talk about this and talk about what's going on with you. And she creates a relationship. So that's an option. So the positives to a vendor show like that is you can get some instant things. I would highly recommend, to stay with the health and wellness, or I know Leah has good success with a more of a natural energy type event. So stay more in this lane. You'll have a lot more success. You know, sometimes people say, well, I can stand out if I go to such and such like this. Well, yeah, you can stand out, but most people are coming for home and garden, not for health and wellness. And so it just helps you really, because we are standing out. There's nothing like us. So you're already standing out. Another thing to think about is this is a cost. So make sure that when you're going to do this, that you think about the cost of how much it's going to be and that kind of thing. I have recommended to people to look around at some of the local senior neighborhoods. not assisted living type place, but a senior living type where it's everybody buys their home. And usually they have a community center in that area. And you can reach out to the community leader of that and say, hey, do y'all by chance have any kind of health and wellness vendor shows? And a lot of them do. And a lot of them don't cost. Or if it is, it's very minimal. So that's a great way to get in. Another thing you can do is by reaching out to the same community is you can also say, hey, I would love to come and teach a class on activating your own stem cells or carnosine. That's a great one. And then even though you're starting with carnosine, you still implement X39. And so by reaching out to those assisted living type facility, homes, neighborhoods, I can't think of what the word is, but you know what I'm saying. And so that's a good one to connect with. Then we wanted to discuss something else. Go ahead, Beth Ann.
One other idea just came to my mind that has been hugely successful is, and this is an investment, probably like $129, I think it is, to get a big Got Pain banner. We have got a banner from Sally Fung initially that says Got Pain, and then lists all, these benefits of the patches. And I saw this when I was abroad, and where someone was doing vendor shows every week, actually. And she had a big Got Pain banner up, and she said, when we got this Got Pain banner, it's just made all the difference in the world. And I'll hear people walking by and they go, got pain, I got pain. And over they come. So I thought, well, that sounds like a pretty good attention getter. So we went ahead and got that banner. So now we can use that at our little every other week meetings, or anybody doing a vendor show. We've got that banner we can count on, and it's such a conversation starter. And plays in with the ice.
That is very true, because I'm actually at an event. I'm helping a couple of my teams today. They're in the other room doing an event and at a expo, a VFW, and we have that Got Pain. And before we even started, several of the other vendors started coming over. So we had 4 or 5 people already coming over. What is this about? We already signed up 2 people just right at the beginning of the thing from other vendors, because that Got Pain does help. It's an attention grabber. Yeah, it's on Sally's it's on the Start X39 now. I can open and show you.
Start X39 Biz.
Oh, Biz, yes, the Biz site.
.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Where Sally's information, all that is. So other type of shows that you can do besides senior center is you can do a bingo party at the senior center. You were going to talk about that, Beth Ann. You have somebody on your team.
I thought this was such a cute and brilliant idea that one of my team had. They were going to have a bingo party. The idea of, we've heard of patching parties. Dr. Stacie Hollowegger did patching and Prosecco. Just a cute, attention getter idea. My speed would be more like patching and popcorn. But then one of our team had the idea of doing a patching bingo party with giving everybody the patches to use to put on their little bingo cards. I thought, wow, what a slick idea. So that's just one to share with y'all.
Yes. So the other thing that Marcy did also ask us to talk about was the pop-up Zooms, pop-up party, pop-up event, that kind of thing. Whatever the name, the wording that you like, because we're just giving you some suggestions of some wordage, but what works for you. And I know Leah's had great success. I know several people on my team have started doing them and they've had good success, and so it can work very well. So we're talking about the different, we started with doing event yourself, teaching your team to do event, doing event vendors, and now we're going to go into just Zooms, a little pop-up Zoom. This is not a patching podcast. This literally can go into talking about in the pop-up Zoom. You would start with the science, just like you were in person. You would go into the history of the company. You would talk about how to get the patches. You would talk about packages, and you might even talk about the patches themselves and of the different variety. I mean, you're always going to talk about X39. That's the whole point, but you can go into the other ones. Marcy does have a slide already put together on, and information. I'll start there and then we'll go back into that. If you go to startx39biz.com and you go down to the 14 steps and you go to number 14 tab right here in library, she has the patching party setup. And this is everything that you would need to do a patching party setup. And she has little invitations you can create, that kind of thing, the location. Remember how she talked about the coffee, the, you know, so it's got several different ones, but some of these are all for online. So this is some of the information for online, not just in person. And then on the front page, I believe it is, I should have pulled it up at the beginning, but oh, right here, PowerPoint, business opportunity PowerPoint. You can go in, even though it's a business PowerPoint, you can go in and you can still pull some slides and create some slides if you want. You could go in and get some before and after pictures and create a slide yourself, or you can just screen share and go to specific ones. So when you go on, you create the invitation, you talk to your team, you say, hey team, I'm going to do a pop-up party or event, and here's the information. Come Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. We're going to have this wonderful pop-up Zoom. I'm going to teach, I'm going to share. We like to keep it, me and Beth Ann, when we've done it, we like to keep it to about 30-minute max, just because, you know, and we make it very special for the guest. Actually, Leah was the one that really kind of, we watched Leah's and we were like, that's super. And so, but she kept it very important, directed at the guest. You mute everybody else and you only speak to the guest, because that's really what you're doing. And you're just helping your team. You can invite people for yourself too, but you encourage your team to bring those guests. If there's no guest there, don't do it. You know, come on, tell them you're doing it. And if they don't bring any guests, then say, okay, next time we're going to do it at Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Bring your guests, because maybe they didn't come this time, but next time. This is back to that consistency. Whatever you decide to do, don't go in and do it one time and go, that didn't work. That's it. I'm out. No more of that. Because it really takes consistency. If you've done it for a while and it still isn't seeming to work, then see if there's something, could I have done differently? What could I have learned differently? You know, what did I learn from it that may have not worked? Maybe I didn't get the invitations out like I should have, or something of that effect. But continue doing that kind of stuff, because consistency is going to pay off for you. Beth Ann?
Well, big again at those is announcements. You'd want to announce that these are available. This is how they work. So whoever, you know, the guest is, they know they can invite someone to a pop-up Zoom as well. And what are the parameters for that? You know, they get a hold of you, you schedule a time that works, they'll bring in a guest. So announcements, I think, are always huge. Keep everybody on the same page with knowing what's going on. So, and of course, the huge advantage with the pop-up idea is they can pop up at any minute. I mean, you can just schedule something for this afternoon. You don't have to travel anywhere to get together with someone. You don't, I could see Stacie laughing about stuff and I'm sorry, taking my attention. So anyway, the huge advantage when you just can, at the drop of a hat, schedule something for someone. You don't have to travel across town. There's no cost. There's no cost. Well, the only cost would truly be for you, if you personally were going to have a Zoom account. If you have you can have a free 45-minute Zoom account where you can do Zooms at no charge. Then if you get to the point where you're thinking, boy, these Zooms are working really great for me, I want to have more time, I want to use this more often, then there is an annual fee. I just purchased an annual Zoom account, it was $156.20 for a year. So that is an investment when you decide these Zooms are working really well for you, but it's business. It's a business cost, tax deductible.
Yes. If anybody has any questions, y'all go ahead and start putting it in the chat and we will be answering them. The last little bit that we do want to share is, remember the advantages of the different parts that we shared with you today. There's advantages to each thing, and think, where am I right now? Which part can I fit into? And then start, just like Beth Ann said at the very beginning, just start, because we're all in different places. Our team is in different places. And the biggest thing is we just got to start. Look around. If you want to do local type events, look around at, like I said, retirement communities, coffee shops, maybe gym memberships, see if there's something at the gym. Don't be afraid to ask the place. I was at a juice bar one day and the guy makes natural, healthy, like fresh, right on the spot juice. And I said, oh, this is wonderful. And I said, I think I have something that's can, kind of work together here. And she actually heard about it. She's actually using them, but she just uses them. That's all she does. She buys from her Lifeway, but she signed up with a lady from Canada. And I said, why? She said, why were you asking? I said, well, you have such a great location. I could, would love to bring my friends in and start having little events right here in your, table area and stuff like this. She said, of course, I don't do it for a business, and that would be super. I would love it. I said, well, how much would it cost? She said, nothing. So don't be afraid to ask, is this something I can do? Is this a location? That kind of stuff, because you never know when they're going to just say, yes, go for it. So find out where your budget is, find out what will work for you, what is something like Beth Ann also said, find what fits you, what's your personality, that kind of thing, and do that. So Julie asked, love to know how you address people who say they can't afford it. Well, you know what? I have a lady that she just made a cute little banner flyer thing. And she said, your health is an investment. What is it worth to you? Mm. And she has that. And so when when we're at events or anything like that, they're like, oh, I can't afford it. She goes, well, your health is an investment. What's it worth to you? Because, everybody's not going to want to purchase it. It's okay. You share the knowledge, you share the information, and you be okay with wherever they are. That doesn't mean you don't love on them. That doesn't mean you don't share with them, because you might take someone that you think doesn't have money and they're ready to invest in their health. And you might take somebody that has a lot of money and they're not interested, they're not ready. So just give them the information, find out your source of where you want to be, what lane do you want to be in, and go for it. I have a few more announcements, but Beth Ann, do you have anything to end with or anything like that?
Well, I just keep thinking of one person on your team that had gotten off to a start that she wasn't really happy with. She was obviously very capable and talented and a wonderful woman, but until she really realized her niche, she didn't just explode, which she has ever since then. That she had her people, her clan, her tribe kind of a thing, were maybe different from my people, my tribe, which all has white hair. I'm in the white hair club, So, and once she really realized who her audience was, who identified with her, who she identified with, and started sharing with them, was just like a whole new world. So when we say bloom where you're planted, that also does mean, put yourself in with the flowers that are like you. Yes.
And that is very true. I have a few people that own a water tree store, and they they were kind of hesitant to use their water tree store to do this. And we kept encouraging them, let us to come in and do some events. And I said, well, we talked to people, but they were hesitant. Well, when they said, finally go, maybe we should, it has taken off. They're exploding, their store is exploding, everything about it. So, that's going back to that. Don't be hesitant to ask. Don't, talk to your people on your team. They're ready to get started, some of them. And so go ahead and talk to them, get out there, figure it out. And like I said, there's plenty of things that we can do. I was at an event at a community center just recently, and I was talking to people left and right. You never know where a door is opening. And this lady goes, oh, I'm over this blah, blah, blah community area over here. We have thousands of people. Can you come and teach? That door opened. And so maybe I didn't sign her up yet, but she's wanting me to come and teach. So she does value what is being offered. And so think about all the things in your area that are natural, yoga studios, massage places, and go out there and start making some connections in that way. So last drawing, and then also I'm going to repop the announcements or repop the stuff in there. Let me see here. Convention, remember, October the 12th through the 14th. Reach out to your team, encourage them to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be the best dance or best dressed for the 80s night. Sorry, guys. You're
Best
gonna have
dancer.
Yeah, I'll probably be the best dancer. No. But I'm gonna just know that y'all really have to step it up if you're gonna beat my costume, because I love to go crazy with the costumes. So October the 12th through the 14th. And then the patching party details is on tab 4 of startx39biz.com. There's also a lightpowergirls.etsy.com where you can get t-shirts with Evolve. You can get activate stem cell type t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. Will not be naked. I don't know what she's saying, but I just seen that. And so here's some of the announcements. And the last drawing was Rosedale for the gratitude journal. So Rosedale, you send your information in to Jan Rand. I know Jenny's put it in there a couple of times. You send all that into Jan Rand, text her or email her, however it goes, and she will send that $50 gift card out to you. Just let her know. Let any of these people, let them know why you're sending it to Jan. Say, Jan, Marcy said we get a $50 gift card for gratitude, or we get a $50 gift card for the convention list. So that way she knows what it is and says, what is this? I
Ask one question before you leave.
Yes.
About that, I was in there looking for the biz thing. I'm looking for that poster to purchase, the got paid, and I can't find it on the biz thing. Thank you.
Okay. So if you can't find something specific you wanting, always reach out to Sally. Her number or her email is there. You just reach out to her. She will work with you to help you customize what you need. So Sally's number's there, and she can help designate what you need. It was such a treat to come on today. Beth Ann, I really enjoyed you co-hosting with me.
Yes, you too.
And it was wonderful. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday. I am going to stop the recording